Hello everyone, welcome to a new video. Today I will be discussing the healthcare sector. And when I say healthcare, I'm referring to nurses, doctors, any kind of assistants and other professional profiles that are working in hospitals or medical centers. And the story actually came from the other day in which my mom told me that she had a 7% discount for a specific supermarket. And my immediate reaction to that was to say, wow, that's great, super nice, you are very lucky. You get lots of benefits for working in healthcare at the moment. But as we were going through the advantages and disadvantages, I started to realize that maybe it is not so good after all. So in today's video, we will be looking at the current working conditions as well as risks associated with working in healthcare. And we will be doing this, of course, from a financial point of view, like pretty much everything in this channel, and also specifically applied for Spain, although I think that most of these things can be extrapolated to many other countries. Is it a good sector to get into or to be in at the moment? So with that said, let's begin with the interesting part of the video and go through all the points that I consider super important and that you should know for sure if you want to enter into healthcare, at least at the moment. Firstly, let's start with all the benefits or positive points, and the first one on the list, and something that I think that not just healthcare professionals but everyone in general at the moment values a lot, is job security. And of course this is not talking about risk-free, because as we all know, the risk of working in healthcare at the moment is pretty high, but more in the sense that they have a guaranteed workplace, as there is a huge need for health professionals. Just so you get a picture of how the situation looks like at the moment in the region of Spain I'm from, or at least in the medical center in which my mom works at, if one colleague leaves the job or it just goes sick for a very long period of time, there are simply no other health professionals to hire, because everyone who wants is currently working, which means that basically they need to divide all the tasks that that person was doing between all the remaining ones. So in this case, it is not the government trying to be cheap and reduce their spending, it is simply that there are no other health professionals, which has the direct implication that basically all the healthcare professionals working at the moment have the possibility to do lots of over hours if they want to, of course, and get paid for those. And with the situation being as it is, although this is a voluntary thing, I can tell you that everyone volunteers and wants to do more over hours. Also, I think because there's not much more to do, you just either stay at home or you can go to work and work a bit longer but also get paid more, which from my eyes it certainly made sense. Additionally, in the medical center where my mom works at, but actually overall I would say, there is an increased demand of administrative job profiles in order to manage the whole COVID situation that don't necessarily require a scientific, or medical background, but that's very good in my opinion, because it also gives the chance to people from other sectors who have been hit extremely hard, like retail or the tourism one, to have a secure job. Going to the topic of over hours though, right now health professionals, it is not just that they can do more over hours of their regular job to cover for their colleagues or whatever, but they also can volunteer to take part in the COVID vaccination process that is already happening right now, and of course get paid extra for it. And the best part of this is that if you really don't want to do these over hours, they are completely voluntary and you can just say no, because there are lots of other people who will happily do them. However, I do think that this is a privileged position to be in, specifically considering the current situation. And also, now that we talked a bit about the vaccine, we cannot forget also, as part of the benefits, that all healthcare workers will be amongst the first ones to get the vaccine, which, I mean, depending on your personal thoughts on, the vaccine topic and so on, you might see this as an advantage or not, but in my eyes, this is a clear advantage. Next in the list of benefits, or benefits that happened during this year, was that all doctors and nurses got an additional pay this past August payroll of up to 1,350 euros gross, depending on the professional category, also the years of experience, whether they worked all the days of the first wave of the COVID, but still this was a very nice thing. Moreover, if what we were mentioning right now was not good enough, now they also happen to have about 1,000, 10,000 different offers and discounts on all sorts of things, from going to the supermarket to clothes shops, all sorts of accommodation like hotels, campsites, and also cruises and even flights. And we will go with the specifics of all of these benefits in just a little while, but before that I just wanted to mention that all of these campaigns taken by companies are purely marketing tools. They just do this so that the population in general likes them more, which is of course valid. It's kind of like when companies just give to charity, the same thing. They just try to get people to like them. I mean, of course it's good if they do something good, and in this case I'm not saying that healthcare workers don't deserve this, because they are really in the front line of the problem, assuming a lot of risk to the benefit of the whole society, which I think is very respectable. But precisely, economically speaking, they are not the people from Spain or in the world in general who are suffering the most and who really need these discounts. Also, maybe this was special at the beginning when the first companies started announcing discounts for healthcare workers, because people thought probably, oh, they are doing something great, it's great that we support the health workers and so on. But nowadays there are so many companies offering the exact same thing of offers and discounts for healthcare workers that it does not even make them, stand apart from the rest. So yeah. However, this is just my opinion on the topic, and I of course find it great that health professionals are getting these benefits, because I do think that they deserve more recognition in general. But after this quick clarification, let's go quickly through all the offers, discounts, all the promotions that healthcare workers have at the moment or have had since the pandemic started. The most recurring discounts are for hotel nights or other accommodation forms, which, I mean, it makes sense, because if these establishments are open, the variable cost of renting each additional room is very little with comparison to how much it costs for them to maintain the whole place open. On that, health workers enjoy discounts of 25% for Cercoteles. They also have a fixed rate of 75 euros per night with breakfast included in Paradores de Turismo, which, in case you don't know what they are just a collection of very selective and exclusive hotels located in historic buildings such as, for instance, castles. And finally, just to mention an additional one, also the Association of Campsites of the Mediterranean Coast offered 1,000 free nights. As I said though, on accommodation there are thousands of other discounts that I'm not mentioning now, but I'm sure that if you are traveling you can go and look them up, because there might be something for you, in case of course you are working in healthcare. Following though on the topic of traveling, the cruise line company MSC Cruceros offers also a 50% discount for cruise line bookings to healthcare professionals, although I'm not sure that anyone is actually booking cruises at the moment, but well, they offer that. Also, airlines like Vueling, which operates in Europe, gave away 50,000 tickets for 2 people to healthcare workers if they inscribe themselves in a website. But the thing is that there were so many health workers inscribing to that at least my mom doesn't even know anyone who benefited from these free tickets. Next one, there is a discount of 50% for all rides with Cabify, which, in case you are not familiar with it, it would be kind of like a Uber, but with a slightly different business model here in Spain. Afterwards, there is a chain of supermarket called Bonpreu, the supermarket I was mentioning at the beginning, that offers a 7% discount on all the grocery shopping to, of course, healthcare employees. And it is not precisely a very cheap supermarket, but certainly a 7% discount makes it much more attractive, at least for me. Additionally, there is a chain of hardware stores that sell pretty much anything called Leroy Merlin that offers a 10% discount, and afterwards we also have a chain of stationery shops called Abacus, giving a 15% discount on all purchases. Finally, to end with all these examples of benefits, we also have the company Naturgy, which provides gas and electricity services, offering free reparation of the equipment in case they break down. And well, with all of this, I try to give you a little overview of all the benefits from all different sectors and type of things that healthcare workers have, which I think that they are very nice. But of course, as I mentioned, these are not even all of them, and there are plenty more. Finally, before we move into the disadvantages, there is one last additional, let's say, good point, which is moving away a bit from the economical part, which is the sense of pride that healthcare workers have at the moment, because they are really, fighting the problem and contributing into society, into hopefully getting through this. And this is, of course, and this gives them a very good feeling, of course. And I'm not saying that they are the only ones that are contributing to this, of course not. There are many other people working in many different sectors that are also contributing, but maybe not to such degree. So well, now we have seen different advantages of working in healthcare, which of course seem very attractive, at least from an economical benefits point of view, but now let's go and look at the disadvantages. The first of these is pretty clear, and that is the risk at which they expose themselves, as they are in contact on a daily basis with patients infected with all sorts of diseases. Now we might just be thinking of COVID, but there are many and many more. And just to mention maybe a very stupid example, we have the flu. As a quick fun fact, or actually not so fun for all doctors and nurses having to wear these, in the screen now you will see 3 pictures of the evolution of how nurses and doctors had to dress up when working, from when the pandemic started to only 15 days later and then 1 month later. A pretty massive change, and certainly not a comfortable costume to wear. On this though, I must say that yes, you are exposed to all of the risks that we have mentioned, but it is precisely this increased risk that makes people act in a very responsible way, always wearing protective equipment and following all the necessary rules. But just as a curiosity, in the healthcare center of my mom, there has actually only been one healthcare professional who has been diagnosed with COVID since the pandemic started. Anyways, going into other disadvantages, we also find that healthcare professionals, and also like with many other professions that it happens, they cannot work from home, so to do mobile office, which I mean, it's not a very bad thing, but I think that it's a shift that is happening in society, which I personally value a lot, and that unfortunately healthcare professionals really need to be there on the line and helping people, so they unfortunately don't have this, let's say, privilege. Concluding this video and answering the question of the title, which was of whether you should work as a health professional right now, my answer would be yes, but only if this is something that you want to do and you really have a vocation towards it. Although here in this video we have looked at it just from, a benefits and downsides part, a bit more like objectively and cold-hearted, I think that your decision when deciding to work in healthcare or not should never be based on just balancing the benefits with the downsides, specifically economically speaking, because this is a very vocational job. And just taking my example, myself as an example, I'm a very apprehensive person. I hate going to the doctor, I hate needles, and I'm like the worst patient ever. So even if I feel attracted by all of the benefits that we have mentioned now, it just doesn't make sense that I work in healthcare, because it's simply not made for me. In any case, if you really want to help people and you also want to have good working conditions, at least here in Spain, then go ahead and do it. Anyways, that was it for today. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please let me know in the comments below what your thoughts are on working in healthcare. Are you a healthcare worker? I would love to hear your thoughts and opinions, and as I said, if you enjoyed the video, then please make sure to give it a like, subscribe to the channel if you're not yet subscribed, and as always, see you next time.